Grab a pen and paper because this one's a good one. We are talking about how to save money and make money. Welcome back. It is Steph here from stephjking.com, coming to you from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. And today we are talking about how to save money and make money. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm actually going to be sharing with you how you can make your money work for you so that it actually makes you even more money, which who doesn't want? Let's be honest. Now, before we dive into it, a bit of a disclaimer. I am not a financial planner. I am purely sharing with you my experiences, my opinions, and just the way that I do things. I'm not telling you how I manage my money or invest my money is the perfect way for you or the right way for you. I do encourage that you do your own research. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive straight into it. And the first thing is you need to figure out where your money is going. Now, I did do another video on how to save and budget your money, so I will link to that one for you to go check out later. And it pretty much just explains how you can identify where your money is going and ways that you can start reducing your expenses so you actually do have more money to save and actually invest into your future. Once you have your budget sorted and you know where your money is going and you've found ways that you can reduce your expenses, it's time to put a bit of an allocation plan into effect. Now, I call mine a money management spreadsheet. And what I do is I actually got these tips from a book that I read some time ago called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And he actually talks about the way that the wealthy manage their money. And I thought it was just a fantastic way on how to allocate your funds. So I'm going to be sharing with you the tips out of that book, which I've implemented into my own life. And I'll probably share with you a few of the benefits or what I've seen as a result of making that change. In the book, he talks about allocating particular percentages of your income to certain things in life. So 50% of your income should go to necessities. So that's things like your bills. So that could be your electricity, your gas, could be your rent or your mortgage, anything that you need to live your life. Next is 10% of your income is to go to what I like to call a freedom fund. So 10% of your income should be going to things that you should be investing into to be able to give you what it is that you need from a financial perspective. So it should be able to return money to you. The next is 10% again, and this goes to long-term spendings. Some people call it savings. I like to call it spendings because it's things that you save up for that you're eventually going to spend. And these are things that should inspire you. This could be like a particular car, it could be travel, it could be saving up for a new pair of shoes, or just whatever it is that sort of gets you excited and you want to save your funds for. That's what this is for. The next one is 10%, and that goes to your play account. And your play account is money that you just need to spend in between your pay brackets. So if you get paid on a fortnightly basis, 10% of your income should go to things that you allow yourself to freely spend. So it could be massages, it could be going out for dinner, it could be going to the movies, whatever you like to do on the weekends. That's what you want to allocate that money for. The next one is 10% to education. Some people say, if we're not growing, we're dying. And as harsh as that sounds, that is the truth. So we should be allocating some of our income to our education. Things like books, training courses, seminars, workshops, whatever it is that you do to develop yourself. And the last 10% is a give account. And that could be as simple as paying for someone's petrol. When you go and fill up your car, you may want to say, look, I want to pay for number 4 as well, and do that for that person. It could be 10% to a charity each month, whatever it is, as long as you're giving it to someone else. Now, when I implemented all of these things, I kind of was hesitant at first, but once I did it, it just changed the way I felt about money. So the fact that I was actually catering to be able to give money on a regular basis, that just made me feel abundant. So when you feel abundant in an area of your life, more of it comes to you. So when you're feeling abundant in the way that you handle your money, and I did, because I had a percentage that I was using to invest. I had a percentage that I was using for long-term savings. I then had my play money. So it was like you were allowing yourself to go out and just freely spend that money. And that makes you feel good. It doesn't feel like you're like holding so tightly and so dearly to your money. And when you think about it, if you are strangling your money, how can you put more into that? You can't, because you've got it so closed, so tightly, that no more is going to be able to fit into your hand. So if you're opening it up and you're allocating out percentages to certain things that are important to you in life, investing to get financial freedom, inspirational things. So you want to travel, great, put that into your long-term spendings account. And then it just makes you feel more free. So you don't feel guilty when you're spending your play money, because you know that that money is allocated to purely going out and spending. How great is that? Now, what you can do with those percentages, so it's 50, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, but you can actually change those. So for example, I looked at my budget. I knew that something that was really important to me going forward was setting myself up and my family up for financial independence. So I knew I wanted to actually invest more into my Freedom Fund account. So I looked for ways that I could reduce my living expenses. So instead of doing 50% for my necessities, I reduced it to 48%. I know it's only 2%, but to be honest, even 1% is going to make a difference in the long term. And then I just amended the percentages to suit what it was that I was striving for. And that's something that you could do as well. So you might not be able to afford to do that particular percentage up front, and that's absolutely okay. But if you're striving towards something, so if you do want to have financial freedom, I highly suggest that you do at least save a certain percentage of your income to be able to use that to invest into your future. So that's investing into things that will be able to make you money in return. So even if you can't do all those other percentages, just commit to doing 5% or 10% of your income just purely towards investing. So a little trick that I used to do was, a few years back, even before I started doing this particular strategy with my money management, I was always conscious about saving money, and I always wanted to be really good at it. So what I actually did was, I had my normal account with one bank, and then I wanted to save money, and at the time I couldn't 100% trust myself with not spending it. So I actually went and opened another account with a different bank and started transferring my savings into that bank account. I didn't get a card for it, and I did it set up internet banking. And then that way I knew that if I needed to get money out of my savings account, I actually had to go into a bank branch to get that cash. And I'm lazy and I made sure there wasn't one that was very close to me. So I actually made it difficult for me to have to go into a bank to withdraw that cash. So then that obviously deterred me from actually wanting to spend that money. And that was a method that I used. I still kind of use that to this day with the way that I've set up my money. But what I do is I have my money come into one account in one bank. And then what I did was I researched the highest interest rate of return on a bank account, and I found the one that did the highest return, and I opened up my other accounts with them, so like my sub accounts. So I had my income coming in here, and then I had my 50% staying in that account, because then that was used for my bills and necessities. And then I had all my other ones come over here. So my 10% Freedom Fund would come into its own account over here. My 10% long-term savings would come into its own account over here. And same for education and give And then obviously my play money would stay over here where my income came in, because I was freely spending that for the next fortnight until my next pay. So then what I did was I then also went to my employer and I set up automatic transfers. So when I get paid an income from my job, a certain percentage automatically goes in to my Freedom Fund account and to my long-term savings, and then I manually manage the rest of my money in that account. And that's something that I suggest that you may want to go and look at doing as well, because then that way you don't have to think about it and you don't see it. So your plan of attack could be that you're only going to dedicate 5% of your income, and you set that up so that your employer automatically transfers 5% of your income to your Freedom Fund account. And then maybe in a year's time, you look at increasing that by 1%. And then the next year, another 1%. So it's constantly growing. And then that way, particularly if you get any pay increases or any bonuses throughout, your time with that company, you're automatically having a certain percentage of that go into your Freedom Fund account. So you're not really seeing it and you're not really missing it. Now, I'm also going to give you another little tip on what I do, but this is something that you would only want to do if you're really good with your money management and you know that you can trust yourself in being able to do this appropriately and safely. And that is to use a credit card. Now, up until a few years ago, I was anti-credit cards. I'm like, why would I want to spend someone else's money that I would then have to pay back? And I know some people do need credit cards, and that's fine. Again, this is my own personal opinion. But once I actually started learning how I could use the credit card to my benefit, I actually got one and I manage my money all through my credit card. So what I do is anything that I need to spend money on, so groceries, fuel, electricity, paying my bills, just going to the movies, whatever it is, actually use my credit card for that, because then every time you use your credit card, you earn points. And I use my points for travel. So it's like in my head, I'm kind of double dipping. Like I'm spending money and then I'm getting points that I can use to go towards what I would normally have to spend money on. So I was just like, heck yeah, I'm going to totally use this to my benefit. But where I say you need to do this safely is that you need to make sure that you're paying back your credit card before it starts incurring interest. So most credit cards will have an interest-free period. Mine has 55 days. So what I do is I get paid on a fortnightly basis. So I have my 50% of necessity that I allocate to bills go into a bank account. So then what happens is I have my money sitting in this account, incurring interest on that cash while it's sitting there. I'm using my credit card, incurring points that I can use as cash in the future. And then at the end of each month, I take the money that's sitting in my account and I pay back the credit card. So then that way I'm not incurring any bad interest fees on top of what I'm earning or spending. And I'm also letting my own cash sit in my own bank account, incurring interest for that month as well. So it's kind of like a win-win-win situation. But again, you only should be doing this if you know that you are very good in the way that you manage your money and you're not going to go blow up your credit card and then have thousands of dollars owing on your credit card, because that's just not putting you into the best situation. Okay, so you have looked at where you can save money, you've looked at your expenses, you're now allocating your income in the right way for your lifestyle. You are using the benefits of having a credit card and being smart with your money. So the next step is, what do you invest your money into? So I want to share with you a way that you can get your money making money for you. And this is just personally what I do with my money that goes into my Freedom Fund, so my investing money. Now, there are so many ways that you can make money these days, which is awesome, but purely for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to be sharing with you some ideas around how you can get your money working for you with the end goal of being financially free. Now, everything that I've learned about the way that I manage my money and the way that I invest my money was actually through one course in particular. There were a couple of books that I've read as well, which I will link below, but there's this one course that I highly recommend that you do go through if your goal is to be financially independent. Just the course is just so in depth and there's just so much more information in there than what I could ever share with you. So I will leave the link to that below so you can go check it out. But there's essentially two ways to get to financial freedom. There's stage one, which is the quick way, which depending on the type of person that you are, can take on average about 2 to 5 years doing it the smart way. And these could be things like you may want to start getting into trading. So you might want to look at Forex trading, which is cool. I know heaps of people that do that. And then there's the long game, and that's things like investing in the stock market. It could be commodities, gold, REITs, even property potentially as well. And on average, that could probably take about 10 to 20 years, depending on the type of person that you are, how much money you do have to be able to invest, and also how consistent you are. And that's my preference at the moment. Is I'm really busy in my life. So I've set my management up of my money effectively and how I like it. So I've got money to invest, but I don't have the time to dedicate to learning a new skill such as like Forex trading. So my main goal and aim and focus at the moment is purely passive investment. And then once I free up a little bit more of my time, I'll then be able to go back and look at more about the short game, like trading and all that kind of thing. And that's something that you need to figure out for yourself, like what is going to be your focus. And both in the short game and the long game, it's a lot of mindset work, because you need to be able to be comfortable with that. If you are investing your money into stocks, whilst it has a really good history, so for example, the Vanguard S&P 500, their average return rate since it started in 1976 is about the 10% mark per annum. And that's really good for long-term growth. But you also need to remember that it's not always going to be making money. Sometimes there's going to be downtimes, and that's in anything. So you need to be comfortable with the fact that you may have months where you've actually lost money, but when you think about the bigger picture and you look at the bigger period of time, so over years, you'll actually see that there's proof in the historical data that over time it increases. And that's even over the financial crisis in 2008. So like I said, it's about researching, investigating, and coming up with your own opinion and looking at facts. And all of this information is pretty much out of the course that I went through and a really good book called Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Pretty much the lessons that I got out of that book and out of the course was very, very similar. So I guess that's how I kind of knew that I was on the right track. And it's pretty much methods and strategies that the very wealthy and successful people were following. So definitely do your own research, have a look into it, go through the course. I'll leave the link again below in the description, and go get that book from Tony Robbins as well, because the information that I got out of that book and out of the IP course was just amazing, and it's absolutely changed everything for me. Now, if you are going to be looking into investing your money, then what you may want to do is go back and re-look at the section where I talk about the way that you allocate your money. And what I want you to do is, before you actually start doing that, create another account called kind of like a safe account. So this will then give you the confidence that because you have money in a safe account, that you can fall back onto if anything should happen to your job. So if you lose your job or anything like that, hopefully it doesn't, but it's just a safeguard to say that if you do start investing your money, then it helps with your mindset, because if you do invest all of your money into one thing, which I don't suggest. Don't put all your money into one basket, or don't put your eggs into one basket, as they say, and you start losing that money, emotionally, you're going to feel negative feelings. You're going to be fearful. And then you're going to wonder and start questioning yourself, is this the right strategy? Am I doing the right thing? Maybe I should take all my money out. Whereas if you, before you start doing that allocation of your income, have one account that you start putting money into, and then once you get to, it's up to you, maybe it's a few months that cover your income. So if you earn $1,000 a week, maybe you want to have 2 months worth of your income in this account to fall back on should anything happen. Now, you don't want to have too long of a period because you don't want all your cash sitting in one account. You want it to be working for you. But once you get to 2 months of your income in this account, then you can start implementing your allocation of your money management. So your 50%, your 10%, your 10%, and so forth and so on. And then that way, when you are investing in your money, you have more confidence in yourself that when you're going through a down period, it's not as scary to you because you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my money, because you shouldn't be investing all your money into one thing anyway. You should always have some savings to fall back on just in case. And just mentally, it helps you, trust me. So I hope you got value out of this. If you do want to learn more about managing your money, how to invest money, even trading, if you're really keen and you want to get into that short game, then Forex trading is my preference. Don't know about you, but if you do want to learn more about it, definitely go check out that IP course and get yourself that book by Tony Robbins, Money, Master the Game, and also The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, then please do subscribe. I do upload videos 3 times a week at the moment, so make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you can get notified when I upload next, because I would love to have you back. Anyway, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.